All right. Well, welcome to the Slightly Nocturnal Show. I'm Doc Holiday. I'm joined here by Machado. Today's date is March 8th, 2018. And this is our first episode of the new year. What's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm over here chilling like a villain.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, new year, same game.
New year, same game. That's right. That's right.
How about you? What's good over there?
I'm moving. So we were just talking about that before the show. My last day of work is tomorrow, and then I'll probably leave Wyoming on Sunday, Monday morning sometime, probably around there. Not in any kind of big hurry.
Oh.
Gonna take my sweet ass time. I'm gonna go on vacation en route to go into my new house. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to go to warmer
Where's the
weather.
vacay to?
I'm going to the Grand Canyon. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
My daughter just told me today how she wants to go to the Grand Canyon.
So this is like my great white whale in my life. So I've effectively been to the Grand Canyon like 3 times. I've just never seen it. It's always been at night. So, and like I'm like, fuck, I want to go. I want to fucking go so fucking bad. And everybody's like, dude, it's a fucking hole in the ground. Like, don't sweat it. I'm like, fuck you. I want to fucking go. So I'm finally gonna go.
Isn't it like one of the 8 wonders of the world?
I think so. I think maybe you're right.
I feel like it is, man. I feel like it's more than just a big hole. Although it is a big fucking hole.
It is. So, and I'm gonna go back to this like, well, it's. I really don't want to like go into too much detail where I'm gonna go. It's like one of those like
we don't want any stalkers showing up there.
Well, not that, but it's like one of those like hiking places that you know they don't want a lot of people to know about, kind of thing. If you tell people, then like more people show up and fucking. So, but it's there's a waterfall that I'm gonna hike back to. So
Nice.
yeah, and because of the type of rocks that are back there, when the water comes over it turns the water in the like. There's like a pool underneath it, turns it like crystal blue. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, I inadvertently found out about it the other day. Actually, about 2 weeks ago. I was gonna go to the Grand Canyon anyways, but this person that I ran into was showing me some pictures, and I was like, "Hey, where the fuck?" I saw it. I was like, "Where the fuck is that at?" And they're like, "Oh fuck! All right, so I'll tell you." Like, you know, they told me. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go see another buddy I know in Colorado. We're gonna ride motorcycles for a couple days. I'm trailering my bike down with me. So
Nice.
in fact, yeah, been getting last couple days been getting all that shit ready. So yeah, gonna go on a camping / motorcycle trip, and you know, en route to going to Las Vegas. So
Las Vegas, New Mexico, though, right?
Right. I'm going to, yeah. So, should be fun stuff. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all being over, actually. I'm exhausted. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Change is always exciting. Sometimes anxiety-inducing.
This has been, you know, like, this move, I didn't have to really do a whole lot of moving myself, which is nice. Like the government paid for the whole move, you know, so that's always very, very helpful when they do that. So
Yeah, I imagine so. I've always moved on my own since I was an adult. As a kid, though, I remember the army moving the family around, and it was much easier than my adult moves have been.
Right. In fact, like I forever will. From now on, I won't take a job anywhere unless they're paying for the move. So I'm not doing it. And I think now that I've reached the level like I don't know, tenure wise, rank wise, like whatever, that I probably will never have to pay for another move, which is almost like shocking to me. It should be the other way around. Like we should probably like give our lower paid employees free moves, since it costs so much damn money to move around. Does that make sense? So.
Oh, I agree. You know, I'm not really super low on the totem pole, but I have had to move on my own dollar everywhere I went.
Right. You know, I can I don't know. After doing this, I'm thinking anybody 11 and above, like, you know, maybe we pay for their moves, but we should be more inclined to definitely pay for 11 and below. Because it can cost, if you have kids or anything like that, it can cost several $1,000s to move across the country. Or
Oh man, the cheapest
move 9 hours, you know?
Yeah, the cheapest move that I had was when we moved here and put all of our crap in storage and sold some off and whatnot. And even that was like $3,000, man.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of dough when you don't have a lot of dough that's free floating around anyway.
Right, I agree. I agree. Did you, so just a little transition, did you hear about during the Combine that they asked that guy a bunch of weird questions?
Oh, yeah, about his sexuality?
Somebody's getting in trouble, right? Like, come on. Somebody's going
I
to
don't
get
know,
in trouble
man.
for that shit,
That's
right?
not like the first time stories like that have come out of the Combine.
Yeah, I know, but last time it happened, like, somebody sued. It was the Saints, right? The Saints assistant coach or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. And we're talking about Darius Geist too, who's like a potential first round draft
pick. I couldn't
pick.
think of the gentleman's name. Yeah,
he's like a monster out of LSU.
They asked him if he was gay, and then they asked him how he thought about how he felt about his mom being a prostitute. Like, I might be obliged to whoop somebody's ass for asking me that, you know. Like, it was just assuming that my mom is a prostitute.
I'm telling you, man, that's what they do.
Hello? You there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah. So what were you saying? You cut out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those stories come out like every couple years from the Combine. The NFL is run by a bunch of billionaire white men. They're asking all kinds of inappropriate stuff.
Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't, you know, like, I think
I mean, it's essentially, like, if you think about it. Now they're gonna get paid a lot of money to be enslaved, basically. But I mean, they really are enslaving themselves to a football team. Like, they're gonna sign a contract and they're gonna belong to that football team. And in that contract, it's gonna say they can't ride dirt bikes, you know, like all kinds of shit that they're not gonna be allowed to do.
Right. Yeah. I don't think people know that.
You know,
either.
I guess indentured servant is a better term. So there'll be an indentured servant. But let's be honest. So if we were to look at that, and again, I don't want to say the NFL is slave trading, so this is going to sound like that. That's not really what they're doing. But they are doing a modern day version of it, because they're essentially buying a person through the draft, paying them, and it's a lot of money. I do agree with that. They're paying them a lot of money, but they are then slave to that team. They are slave to that franchise. You know, it's not like they can just pick and choose who they go to. And with like franchise tags and other things, you know, potentially they could go their whole career without being able to pick who they go play for.
Right.
And they have them paraded around in their underwear, and they ask them about their sexuality. I mean, how tall can you leap? So I say that in modern terms. And then if we go back and look at slave trade, what did they do when they were, you know, purchasing slaves?
Yeah,
they put them up on a platform, measure their arms, check their teeth, look at their physique. You know what I mean? Like, it does mirror that. I'm not saying it is that, but I'm saying it does definitely mirror that.
Yeah, they're putting on a show. So.
Shoot, the NFL's not gonna like this show tonight. Yeah. Oh, most definitely. And that show on the NFL Network has grown like exponentially, man. I think if you look at the stats, when they started broadcasting it, I think they had less than like 100 media outlets there, and now there's like a couple thousand.
Yeah, it's a huge thing now, right?
So, oh, it's massive. Right. Yeah. Yep. And anybody who really follows football, even though the 40-yard dash and the bench press get all the hype, you know the 3-cone drill is where that shit's really at. So any layman who are watching the Combine, watch that 3-cone drill. That's what scouts really are looking at. Checking out that quickness and speed and agility and all that good stuff. So also, just historically, you know, the reason the 40-yard dash was ever initially timed was specifically for special teams, which is typically about the only time a guy gets to run 40 yards straight down the field without, getting bumped or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I imagine somebody should be in trouble. But again, it goes back to like the Hollywood Me Too thing. You know what I mean? Like, how much of that is cultural and how much has they gotten away with for, 50 years? And so it just kind of continues to be gotten away with, and it's considered the culture.
Right.
And again, that's not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that I don't think there's going to be any major fallout from it, even though there, should be. Because I can't, we work for the government. When we go to our interviews, we don't get asked about our sexuality, and we can't ask other people about their sexuality. I don't. To me, that just seems like a little bit too much of an invasion of privacy. But they also have investigators who go investigate these guys' entire backgrounds. So, I guess that's kind of the price of doing business.
Investigators is like that's a that's a friendly word for it. These fucking reserved like dirt diggers. They're like the scum of the earth in my book. That go and like try to dig up.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are like former FBI agents and things like that, man.
They're what they call private investigators, and they're fucking the scum of the earth, is what I think. Like, these people go and try to like just dig up the worst shit on people on purpose. So.
Well, because they're looking to see if their $1 million, excuse me, their $1 million is going to be well spent or not. And I'm not justifying, that behavior, but I am saying that's the rationale. Essentially, it's like investing in a business.
Right. I get it. I do. So, a more NFL. So I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and Jerry Jones is like supposedly in some hot water over
he's paying $2 million back to the league.
Fucking horse shit. Fuck Roger Goodell. Like, that dude is a fucking piece of shit. He got his fucking panties all in a wad, and now he wants to punish fucking Jerry Jones because he decided to voice his opinion. Like, that's what I feel like happened. Oh my god.
I mean, it was so. I think the punishment's twofold. I think one, it's because per reports, Jones tried to lead an ownership rebellion against Goodell and oust him from his job. And two,
I disagree with that.
He basically cost all the owners money because the NFL pursued the cost of those lawsuits against Zeke.
I think
so. I'm not saying it's just. In my opinion, he shouldn't have to pay him the $2 million. It was a collective bargain thing, and they should have been able to say that they disagree with the thing and go to court, and that shouldn't cost Jerry Jones any money.
I disagree with the fact that I don't think he was
still there?
Yeah, can you hear me? I think there's a delay.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, I'll say it was just so quiet. I thought I was by myself for a minute.
You might try to are you on your phone or are you on your computer?
No, I'm on the computer.
Yeah, there's like a 10-second delay. You might restart Discord real quick. I don't know. That seems odd. That's so far behind me. Anyways, I think that, from what I've read, that Jones didn't lead some kind of try to oust Roger Goodell. It was over. Fuck! I just lost my train of thought. But it was over. Hey, you there, Bo? Having some technical.
Yeah, I'm still here. You hear me?
Yeah. Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, there's still that.
Hold on, I'll boot down and boot back up.
Yeah, that's huge delay. So while Bo's doing that, I just want to talk about from my understanding about Roger Goodell and Jerry Jones is that it's not. Jerry Jones wasn't trying to like lead a coup against Roger Goodell. He was trying to like. I guess he was. Jerry Jones was essentially mad about how much money Roger Goodell's making, and that he didn't want him to get a pay raise. And essentially, that to me, it sounded like Roger Goodell got his panties all in a wad over Jerry Jones being mad about how much money he made. And Jerry Jones and him have had some conflicts before. Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. He's like into having contact, so. Well, while we're waiting on Bo to come back, I think he's I don't know if he rebooted his computer or not. So, but I've also heard about the sleepers in the March Madness. I'm gonna ask Bo when he comes back about this. We'll finish up with the Roger Goodell and Jerry Jones thing. But March Madness is upon us, starting soon. I can't fucking wait. So I want to talk to you a little bit, real quick, about while Bo's getting back in here, about the schedule that's coming up. So what we're gonna try to do is,
hey, you there, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Can you hear us, Bo? You there?
I feel like I'm in a Verizon ad.
Can you hear me, Ben? Hello. We can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Hey, you there, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me, bud? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you there now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh shit, it's a miracle.
So I was just talking about. We'll go back to Roger Goodell and Jerry Jones in a sec, but so we're gonna gear back up in April after I get all settled in my new house, and then we are going to have we're gonna have a female co-host now too. She won't be involved in every show, but yeah, we're gonna introduce a female co-host. It ought to be a good time. Just people have asked us to have a female voice on the show. One of our top rated episode is when we had Sarah on, and I had a good time. So try to have some. I think it's important. You know, we talk about a lot of relevant issues to folks, and it's good to have the female perspective. What do you think, Bo?
Yeah, I like boobies. Just kidding.
Jesus Christ.
Just kidding. I wasn't on the Sarah episode though, so I can't speak to that one. But yeah, you know, I've talked before. I think it'd be cool if we could have fans calling in and whatnot. So,
right.
You know, I dig the concept of multiple people being on the show.
Yeah, I agree. And so that's another.
Don't anybody get all upset and go me too and on me. I was just kidding. Well, I wasn't kidding. I do love boobies, but you know.
I fucking love boobs too. I will not deny it. So, but we are gonna work towards this year getting some kind of like call-in thing figured out. I think we have the technology. We just need to figure out the best way to do it. So, to make it happen.
Yeah, I think that'd be very cool.
So back to the Roger Goodell, Jerry Jones thing. So I disagree. I don't think Jerry Jones is trying to lead like a coup against Roger Goodell. From what I understand and what I've read, Jerry Jones was upset about how much money Roger Goodell was making, and he got the. So just like Congress has these the finance committee and the budget committee, he got the budget committee together, which he's a part of, I think, and talked just like
I don't know if he's on that or not.
I don't know, but he got these folks together and discussed with them how unhappy he was about giving Roger Goodell a promotion with money.
Okay, dude, he wasn't giving him a promotion. He was unhappy because Goodell suspended his player and they didn't make the playoffs.
Well, so he went after it a different way. But literally, like, if you read what happened, like, Jerry Jones assembled the budget committee and was like, "We're not giving Roger Goodell any more money." That's what he was mad about.
He tried to lead a coup, but it didn't work, man. It's okay.
I disagree.
It's okay. We tried to overthrow the dictatorship in Cuba once upon a time. Sometimes shit doesn't work. It's okay.
I disagree, but you know, Jerry Jones he's just prone to doing crazy things sometimes. So I do think. Well, go ahead.
So you look at the amount of money that the league has made, and I know their viewership went down this year for the first time in 10 years or something. But you look at the amount of money and the exponential growth under Roger Goodell, and saying this guy needs to have a pay cut. Man, the only reason you give him a pay cut is because you're mad at him.
I don't think it's a pay cut. They just didn't want to pay him any more money. Like, any more. Like, then he's already...
No, it was a pay cut. They're paying him less. I think they're only paying him 40 and they were paying him more. I'd have to find the data, but I think they wanted to pay him less.
He's such a piece of shit.
Well, I don't agree with that. What I do agree with, though, is that his power should be checked, and they should actually have a true appeal process.
Yeah,
he shouldn't be like.
I think what's his name, Zeke, got the raw end of the deal, because in the real world outside the NFL, there's no proof that he did anything. They're taking this gal's word that something happened. Basically, he's getting punished. He got punished because she said he did something bad. Literally, like. And
he got punished on hearsay.
Right. I'm telling you, prove me fucking wrong, guys. Like, if somebody wants to prove me wrong, but I looked that shit up the other day because I wanted to talk about this. In the real world, outside the NFL, they were like, nope, nothing fucking happened. Like, it's his word against hers. Like, they were like, nothing that happened can be proved.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Right. There's no legal there's no legal legs to stand on, which is why he wasn't prosecuted.
Right. And so that's why I think, I think Jerry Jones is very vindicated and being pissed about it, you know? So.
Oh, I don't disagree. You know, I think that it was justified when the Patriots were mad about Tom Brady being suspended.
Oh, for the Deflategate thing, right?
Well, no, the the Deflate thing, and then he was basically suspended for destroying his cell phone.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, that whole thing to me was just a big deal over nothing. He still had to throw the football, and somebody still had to catch the football, and you still could have stopped him. Like, who gives a fuck? It's a dumb rule anyway. If they want a little less deflated ball, fucking let them have a less deflated ball.
Fair enough, I guess, right? Anything to keep the Patriots down. Like, the fuckers just win everything. Although I had never been so happy to watch them lose a football game like I did the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that he'd be the only one who would benefit from that. Any guys that had smaller hands would benefit if the ball didn't have as much, pressure in it.
Fair enough, right? Yeah.
So. But I mean, of all the big deals, I mean, that isn't a big deal. There was still an opportunity for a guy to play defense on a guy who played offense.
Right. I really don't think that that gave them the win in the Super Bowl. So I agree with you.
No, it did.
That people still have to throw the football, and people still have to catch it, and run. So
no, I do think they cheated. And so if you're suspended for this, can say, oh, they were cheaters.
Right. If you
if you were going to do that,
right.
If they're doing that, I don't think they had to have the whole investigation and everything. I think all they had to say was, look, you deflated the ball. We're aware that you had knowledge of this. We're going to suspend you.
That's a violation of
and
the
to
rules.
Me, at that point,
you cheated. You're suspended.
Yeah.
Kind of things. Yeah.
To me, at that point, I think Belichick should have been the one who got the fallout.
Yeah, as the leader of the team, right? Like, this is you're
because
the captain of the ship,
they couldn't prove who did it. Like, they had no specific proof by the time it was all said and done. Now, maybe if they'd have got Brady's phone or whatever, they'd have had proof. Who knows? But they had no real proof other than it happened. And so the leader of the group is the one who should, be in trouble for it.
Right? You're the captain of the ship. That's your people.
Yeah. You're responsible for the culture of the organization. If the culture of the organization is you try to be shady, and we know you were shady, you're in trouble. I mean, that's where the real trouble should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but that's a different topic. Goodell has too much power. I agree with that. I don't think he should have to have a pay cut because I think He runs a significant enterprise and has helped them make a ton of money. So if they want to help him be filthy rich, he's helping them be filthy rich. More power to the filthy rich.
And it's I don't know how, like, the NFL needs to be investigated for saying that they are a nonprofit. That is the biggest horseshit lie that the NFL sells every day. Like, what the fuck?
Well, they're not selling it to everybody. When the league started, it probably was a minimum profit league, but now they clear like $9 billion plus a year.
How does a nonprofit make a profit?
Well, you're allowed to make operating costs for up to a certain number of years, and that's considered still a not-for-profit.
Right, but when you so again, folks, like a nonprofit doesn't pay taxes. That's the other kicker.
Right, there's part of the issue.
I just want them to pay some fucking taxes, So.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Those billionaires hopefully pay taxes on their other revenue sources. But they sure do make a lot of money because there's 32 teams that share $9 billion plus in monies.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's a fucking money making business is what it is. It's definitely not a non-profit. God, it just aggravates the shit out of me. So March Madness is about to start. We won't have another show till. Well, when's the tourney end? In April this year?
Yeah, it starts the end of March, right?
Right. So I was looking at the bracket the other day. While I'm looking this up, I read this big article about sleepers, and they were saying it's funny because they're saying Notre Dame could win the tournament, and they're playing Duke right now and getting beat up. So. But yeah, they're saying Duke. What was it like? There were several teams.
Duke's problem is that they got all those young cats, man.
Duke's not going to win this year. Texas Tech is the other sleeper, and Arizona.
So the Final Four, it looks like March 31st, and then April 2nd is the championship. It looks like
April 2nd. So we probably won't get to talk again until after the tourney. We won't have another show till after the tourney. We'll probably have one. Actually, we'll shoot for the 5th of April, barring that everything goes well in the next 3-4 weeks. We should put together. We should both fill out a bracket and put it on Twitter. So.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then,
I don't know how good it'll be. I don't follow hoops like I once did.
Oh, really? Have you not been following it this year? Damn, I was counting on that.
Not a whole lot. Duke looks good when they play well.
Yeah, when
Arizona
they don't play
looks
well,
good when.
When they don't play well, they look fucking terrible.
Well, the issue with Duke really is just when are they going to play defense? Their offense has been pretty solid almost all season. It's just they don't always show up on defense.
Right. I think they have a bunch of young players that want to shoot 3 points all day long. Like that I really do. I think that's a maturity thing. So.
And then what kind of leadership does Grayson provide them? And I like Grayson Allen. I think he'll probably be a first-round draft pick and should be. But he's not always been known to be the most mature player.
Right.
And so the issue with Duke is the senior leadership isn't a guy who's, super mature. Now he's super talented, but he's not super mature.
I agree with that. I do. As I'm a huge Duke fan, and I totally agree with that. Yeah, he's known to be a loose cannon, and he was one last season.
Yeah, he's actually had it under control this year. The tripping and the other kind of tantrums that had been going on. So, and let's not pretend like guys when they're 20 and 21, that's overly abnormal.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And
not to defend that behavior on the court, but it's not super unusual that a guy who's 20 and 21 years old or a girl, might have a temper tantrum.
Right.
That's still not out of the realm of particularly abnormal. It's still kind of normal. It's not abnormal to the point of mental health disorders and all that jazz at that point.
Right. I would say Gonzaga makes the Final Four. That's the only team I think I can vehemently say.
Oh, yeah?
They make the Final Four.
I don't know, man. It's got to depend on who's in their bracket. I mean, I like Gonzaga, okay, but they lost a lot of guys off that team from last year.
Right. But they've only lost 4 games, and God, they win by like big margins. So
Yeah, they don't play anybody who's the caliber of like other teams in the ACC or the Big 10 or the Big 12. You know what I mean?
well, they're gonna play people. You know, they beat they beat people that are ranked. So I don't know. Like
Well, I mean, yeah, they can only play who's on their schedule, so I'm not taking anything away from them.
right.
I'm just saying, like, to say they've only got 4 losses and that makes them a strong candidate to go to the Final Four. I don't know if I agree with that based on who they play.
The only reason I say that is because of the wins on like their margin of win. So even if they're gonna play somebody better than if they beat some team by 30 points, maybe they play a better team and only beat them by 8 points. So.
Well, I mean, beating BYU or San Francisco is not beating Arizona.
Right, but Arizona's also lost 7 games this year. So.
They have, but they had to play in the Pac-12. Normally the only tough team that Gonzaga plays in conference is St. Mary's.
Ranked though,
Who?
Hardly any of their schedules ranked teams for Arizona. I would say Gonzaga's probably
the Pac-12 is tough.
I agree with that. I mean, even though there's not ranked teams, it's so. But it'll be a good. My opinion. I think Gonzaga makes the Final Four. So that's the only one. I think I see Duke losing in the, probably the second round. I'd say they go out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta wait and see brackets. I'm not even gonna speculate until I see a bracket.
I like to see Miami do well in the tournament this year. I think they have a very talented team over there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to see like teams like Xavier, small schools ranked real high. I like St. Mary's. Fuck, I like to see them win, or St. John's, but I don't think St. John's doing very well this year.
No, they did beat Duke and
who
else did they beat? Duke and somebody else big, man. They had 2 real big wins in a row.
Right.
I don't remember who they beat. They beat Duke and then they beat somebody else.
Was it Purdue that they beat?
I don't know.
Not. I'd have to look it up.
Michigan State's probably gonna hit the Final Four, man.
They're looking good.
Like,
They're looking good.
If I had to pick a team that I was gonna, I'd say them. Like if you asked me to pick one team to make the Final Four without looking at brackets, I would say Michigan State. They got a good coach. They got a solid team. I would trust them more than most other teams.
They got most of their team is juniors and seniors, right? They're starting 8.
Yeah, I think they got a superstar freshman in there too.
Right. We'll just say, yeah, like you said, I think it's probably best. We'll do some brackets, put them on Twitter, and see how it goes. So, always do a couple brackets every year. I'm excited. I love fucking March Madness. So.
Yeah, I love it too. It's fun.
And then I read this article the other day about what is that pitcher's name? He's from Japan, baseball player.
I don't know.
I can't even think. Anyways, it was like a heartbreaking article about this. It's not Hideki Matsui. It's Ichiro. That's what it is. He played for the Yankees.
Oh, Suzuki.
Yes, yeah. It's like so all last season. For the last 2 years, he's played in Miami for the Marlins, and then this year he's going back to Seattle. But for like a whole year, this guy didn't have for all the off season didn't have a contract for anything. And
right.
I encourage people to go on ESPN. It's on ESPN's front page. I'm looking at it right now. It's called Ichiro's Transcendent Career. It's like it talks about it makes these like big time baseball players seem like more of like a real person because of the struggle that they go through. So,
well, they are real people.
Right, but you get this like thing that they make all this money and everything just goes right for all these people, and if you read this article and you're like I felt bad for this guy at the end of the article, you're like fuck, so
Yeah. Well, I think we should be cautious too in saying that just because guys are wealthy, everything's going right for them.
I agree with that. Yeah, like money doesn't make you happy, right? Like true.
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
Right. You could have all the money in the world and be the most miserable fucker out there, you know. So.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I'm not. I am so over talking about these fucking ball fucks. Like I'm done. I don't want to talk about it no more. They're like a fake family. That dude, like, I don't know. It pisses me.
Who is it?
These fucking, like, what is it? The ball in the family. Those like LaMelo Ball and fucking.
Lonzo Ball's family.
Yes, Lonzo Ball. Fuck that guy. He's a fucking. Ugh. I want to use more graphic language, but I'm not going to. But yeah, fuck that.
I mean, fucking's as graphic as you can get. I mean, you might as well use the other language.
I want to be a little bit more specific, but I will not be. I cannot stand it. Like, I have friends that are they like addicted to these fucks, and
yeah. Well, it's no different than like in the Kardashians, dude.
Right, but like, why fucking feed these idiots? Like, there's nothing. They're overrated. All of them are. All of them are overrated.
Dude, why are the Kardashians famous?
Because people feed that fucking. They like to watch people like their drama. That's what it is. They like to watch. Yeah. It's like watching a train hit a car. You can't look away from that shit. But I
do think Lonzo Ball's a good player, man.
No, I think he's overrated. I think he's good, but he's overrated. Like, he's not like I think the hype.
He's only overrated by his own dad, man. Like his dad overrates him. Nobody else does. Now his little brothers, I don't know if they're going to be very good, but I do think Lonzo is good. You know, I think the Lakers have a good player in him.
I don't know. I disagree. I think he's just an average ball player, an average NBA ball player.
An average ball player? I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think in 3 years that dude will be a fucking pine rider. So.
No, I don't agree with that, but that's okay.
That's right. It's okay. So, I
think he's a lot closer to being the next Jason Kidd than he is to being a guy who rides the bench.
I wish him the best.
And I'm not saying he will be, but I'm saying he's closer to that.
Before I say something stupid, I wish him the best.
Okay.
But and then what is that show where with the guy that calls boxing, like the white guy whose brother died?
Max Kellerman?
Yeah, so Kellerman and this other guy have a show on ESPN. What the fuck is the name of that show? And they like argue. I don't know how.
First Take?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, with Stephen A.
Yeah, that guy. Oh my god.
Him and Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen Smith, man, he'll make some like awesome fucking comments, and then he'll say the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life, and I'm just like,
well, yeah, man.
How the fuck is this guy?
That's part of what he does.
Like,
that's like he's like, and remember, Skip Bayless used to be the guy that was in the Max Kellerman role before Skip went over to I think Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, he's on Fox now. Yeah, I miss Skip, man. Skip Bayless is fucking awesome.
That's because he loved the Cowboys, dude. That's why you miss Skip.
Hey, it's just like Lou Holtz. Like every week you ask him who's gonna win.
Oh man,
Notre Dame.
You know my show on ESPN, man. It's Jalen and Jacoby. You ever watch that show?
Yeah, I do.
Those are my dudes on ESPN. Yeah. So, if we're gonna talk ESPN shows, them and the old heads, Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon on Pardon the Interruption.
Yeah, I like I said, I like Stephen Smith and I like Max. I like their energy. I like because they disagree a lot on things. I like that. You know,
mm-hmm.
I like having two different sides of the story. But Stephen Smith will say some shit, and I'm just like, how the fuck has ESPN not fired your ass for this shit? You know, like better people.
He's a popular guy, man.
He is popular, but like it's just like people of the same caliber as you have fucking been fired for way less. You know, just like I don't get it sometimes. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Stephen Smith, I just want you to remember that you fucking work for Disney. I just want you to know that. So.
Yeah, well, that is true. He does work for Disney.
Yes, like you work for fucking Mickey Mouse. I just want you to. I want to reiterate that. So. Anyways,
Hey, but I'd be happy to work for them for his money.
maybe I don't know.
Oh man.
I'm not letting somebody buy me out. All right, we got about 20 minutes left here, and I want to talk about this whole gun control thing.
What?
So,
What?
what?
He doesn't seem bought out.
I think he's very bought out. I think so.
But yeah, I said he doesn't seem bought out.
Oh, you don't think he's? I think he seems very bought out.
You were just criticizing the stuff he says.
Yeah, I think he's fucking crazy. Like, he'll say some shit that's just like fucking crazy.
I don't know. He says some pretty outlandish stuff, man.
I think there's a delay again. Fuck. Are you there? Hello. Bo, you there?
You hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
bud?
can you hear me?
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, you can't hear me?
There's a delay again.
You hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Hello.
Got it?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Hello.
It's a delay.
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
It's a terrible delay. Hello.
You there now?
Yeah. Is that any better?
Yeah, can you hear me? Is that better?
No, it's not better. It's still a delay.
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I thought you couldn't hear me.
No, I can hear you. There's just a huge delay now. Yeah, it's like 15 seconds now. 15-second delay. It's fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let me go out and I'll come back in.
No. Let me try this time. Maybe it's on me.
Oh, okay.
All right. Can you hear me?
You there?
Yep. Hello.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Okay.
That delay gets in my... It just messes with me.
All right. I think it's in your head, man.
No, it's
I think it's a story you're telling yourself.
It's like a legit... I'll like say something and I can like count in my mind. Like...
Yeah, I think it's just a story you're telling yourself.
Oh, what the fuck? I just did it again. I counted to 11 before you said anything.
I just wasn't talking, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's talk about... we got about 18 minutes left here. Let's talk about gun control. So, in the shooting in Florida... I want to make it very clear. I've been asked about my opinion about this, to weigh in on it. So this is my opinion about, the shooting in Florida. I believe was a couple things. I think it was a very unsound individual that acted alone, and I think it's a terrible thing that happened. But I don't think that guns or gun sales are to blame for what happened. I think that a very challenged individual, young man who was, I think, mentally ill, he went into a school and did a horrible thing. And then I believe that at the same time, on the same hand, that people tried to, make evident that this man or this young man had a problem and it just wasn't dealt with. And that could be a product of his upbringing. I think he was in some foster homes. Bo, weigh in on this if I'm saying anything wrong here.
No, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't really remember hearing much about his background. I do know that he had been investigated by the FBI and local police multiple times.
Right.
So I think that it was a preventable tragedy. Um, I'm not a fan of prohibition of anything, so I'm not gonna say don't sell guns. I would say, if we're gonna sell particular kinds of guns, maybe requiring some kind of education around them. Like I'm a clinical social worker, I have to do a certain number of CEUs, so maybe some kind of training if you want to own certain weaponry or things like that might be appropriate. Um, making sure you do good background checks, all that kind of stuff. I do support and dig that concept. Although I will say that won't stop all the things that go on.
Right. And so just to finish real quick too.
Yeah.
This situation. So like we said, we had basically a sick individual, and I'm not, what he did was sick, but he was also like mentally sick and mentally ill.
Well, let's just be honest. If you're stable, you don't go kill people.
Right.
Unless you're in combat or you have some rationale behind making that decision. But you don't walk to the school you go to or some other school and shoot people. A person who's mentally stable or well doesn't do that. Right. I don't think anybody would debate that.
Right. And then I think that the police action after the shooting started, I think there needs to be a complete overhaul in that police department. And I think a lot of people agree with that. I think a lot of people in the media agree with that. We have this on-campus cop that was immediately suspended without pay by the police chief. You don't do that if you don't have cause, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, yeah.
And then he's been interviewed since then, and has said, he didn't go right in because he was taking a tactical position. Like, bullshit, buddy. You didn't go in because you're a bitch. That's what I'm gonna say. And you know what? And that's the end of it, kind of deal. Because now you have to live with that for the rest of your life. You have to live with knowing that maybe you could have gone into school and done something about it. And I say that because just a few years ago, in an elementary school, an on-campus police woman, she got in between the students and a shooter in the school, and shot this man in the head. After he had come in and killed 2 teachers. I think that was in the New England area somewhere. But
that sounds right.
Yeah, but so this dude, he's a bitch. He did something that he been trained to do differently, and it's on him now. He has to live with that for for the rest of his life. So that's what I'll say about that. I think that the police chief in Florida, then that county, Volusia County, he's going to take some heat, and I think eventually you'll see him step down or get mandatory retired or something like that is going to happen. Most people, they're going to have to hang this on somebody, and just like we were talking about earlier about the upper management, somebody's got to have to pay the price for this incident, and they usually hang that on upper management. So, sure. Like I said, my opinion is that obviously the police department needs an overhaul and at least training of some sort in these kind of situations.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that the people that don't like guns or like are trying to get rid of assault, guns of that nature, they'll use this as ammo for their arsenal. So
sure.
That's my opinion about it. And I just want to make clear one thing. So, I want everybody, Dick's Sporting Goods stores and Walmart, which does not sponsor this show in any way, and I'm very offended of what they've done. They have decided that they're not going to sell the AR platform firearms anymore, and that they are going to sell guns, not going to sell guns to people that aren't 21. So the law, it still is, you can't buy handguns if you're under 21, and you can buy any other firearm you want if you're 18. I just want people to know that, because there's been some because they've done that, people have questioned, like, thinks the law have changed, and it has not. And then I want to make very clear that the AR rifle does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite rifle, and it's akin to the man who invented that rifle. I think his name is James Armalite. So it's a common misconception that any AR stands for assault rifle, and it does not. So I think that those stores, they're private companies, and they have exercised their right to do what they want to do, and that's fine. They can do what they want. But they've said in both their statements that they're banning ARs and then quotations around it, assault rifles, and it's not an assault rifle. So it's an armament rifle, and that's AR pays homage to the man that invented them. So
isn't it still an assault rifle though?
It really is not. An assault rifle is classified as an automatic weapon, and
versus semi-automatic.
Versus semi-automatic. So
okay.
So yeah,
way to drop some knowledge.
That's my soapbox for the gun thing right now. It's a terrible thing what happened in Florida. That's anytime, I have a kid now, and it scares me to death that I'm gonna have to send my kid to a school. Bo has a kid, and she goes to school every day. So that's something that
she does. My wife works in a school.
Yeah, you just don't want to hear about that, like that. I don't want to hear about that shit.
And I have a couple thoughts about what we should be doing as a civilization, and it doesn't necessarily require like suspension of gun sales. But what we should be doing is teaching character and kindness to young children from the beginning up, and we should be making mental health services readily available without stigma. And I think a lot of this would be preventable.
Right. Okay.
I think a lot of this would be preventable. I think if we just were to catch kids and teach them appropriate coping skills, things like meditation and breathing exercises and how to deal with life stressors, and not just always be worried about 1 + 1 = 2 and science, and not to minimize the importance of those subjects, but to say that we're talking, and I'm going to speak specific to public school because that's what our tax dollars fund, maybe teaching good citizenry and teaching people how to grow and be good people should be a significant part of the curriculum.
Right.
And if it was, I think some of this will go away. I think, some of the stop the line on bullying, appropriate strategies to manage stress and anxiety in your life, a lot of those problems can be dealt with if kids learn skills to deal with those issues very early in life, and that's healthy manner is perpetuated through their life into adulthood. Right now I don't think we do a very good job at that. I think that schools become higher pressure places to score well on tests. Because you do good on a test, you get into a good college, and then hopefully that means you get a good career. Though the secret reality of all that, kids, is that that's not necessarily true.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. This is something a future topic that I want to talk about, but I think that money that us taxpayers pay is, I think it's funneled to schools incorrectly. We give all these high scoring schools that score, what is that called? The PAC test? Is that what it's called? The kids take the PAC test?
I don't know. There's a PSAT, SAT,
like how they score
Iowa skills.
How they score schools, like how they get their funding. Anyways, there's this test that they make these kids that take, that based on their scores is how much money the teachers get allotted to get paid, how much money the school I think
it depends on your region. You're talking about standardized testing, because I know as a kid in Kansas I took the Iowa skills, but here there's a different one that they take in South Carolina. So I think that's kind of a regional thing, and different regions of the country do different tests. But you're right, money is funneled to schools based on test productivity.
Yeah. So we have these horrible scoring schools that don't get any money, and it's just this horrible cycle. They'll never. It's like they can never get the engine quite running good, because they just don't have the stuff to do it. If that makes sense. So.
Right.
So. Um, I agree with you. I think it's a very like a fundamentally core problem. Like a lot of these issues can be dissolved if we attack the core, at the core. So, you know, teach very young children at a young age. Somebody just said,
"Who was it, man? It was like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, right? Teach the children well."
Yep.
Like back in the fucking day, like that's still the truth. Somebody just said what? I'm sorry.
Oh, somebody's just like, oh, you just want to start a propaganda school. I'm like, you need to look at what the definition of propaganda is. Like, yeah, fair enough. That's probably, but because I don't know who you are, but you've heard the word propaganda, and I know you automatically equate it to the Nazi Germany, World War II. I know that's exactly what you're saying.
Oh, I'm not saying that at all.
I know you're not saying that.
So I hope that's not what anybody's hearing from me. I'm talking about multicultural. I'm talking about the use of meditation and mindfulness. I'm not talking about any kind of segregation or any of those kind of things.
Right.
And I would like to see public dollars spent equally across districts, not just wealthy people get all the money in wealthy schools.
Right. I agree 100%. So, I do. I live in a school district now. Like, I live across the street from the number 2 middle school in the U.S. is like 500 feet from my house. And then the number 4 elementary school is right around the corner. In the country is here. And that bothers me, because of the amount of money that they get. I live in a very, very small town. There's less than 150 middle schoolers, and they get per dollar, like per student, they get more money than say any school in South Carolina where you live, because you're at the bottom of the list. You are
right.
South Carolina always.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Is always at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it infuriates me. So. Anyways, all right. Well. You want to go into any more detail on anything? Because that's about our time.
No, I guess not. I guess I'll hop off my soapbox. But
it's good to be back. I've enjoyed it.
Be kind out there, man. Be kind. And teach kindness to your kids. Like, we're all more alike than we are different. Like, we all bleed red. Our hearts all beat the same. Like. People get too caught up in identity of different things, and we're all really the same.
Right. So yeah, it's good to be back. Like I said, it might be about a month before we have another show, and that is on me because I am moving, and I'm sure there'll be some new interesting topics to have between now and then. So. Look for our me and Bo put together our brackets and put it out there, and just for funsies on Twitter, and then sometime in April, probably right after March Madness wraps up, we'll be getting together and doing this again. So it's good to be back. Tell your friends about the show. So if you've noticed that we're no longer a partner on YouTube. That's because there's like hundreds of thousands of channels that have lost their partner because of YouTube's new policy. They can go fuck themselves. Not that either one of us, me or Bo, made a living off of YouTube. So, but they fucked lots of people that depended on YouTube for money. So, if you have an opinion about that,
thankfully we did not.
Right.
No. Yeah. Just thankfully that wasn't our sole source of income,
right?
Or we'd have some real issues.
I encourage you to go read about what they did exactly, and then then go voice your opinion on social media. I really encourage you to do that. And when you do that, I encourage you to tag Philly D in it, and because he loves that shit, and he's doing some things with all those comments. So I encourage you to do that. Anyways, I don't have anything else to say. It's been good to be back. I feel better about venting a couple things. So
yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, well,
yeah,
one thing before we go,
Yeah.
what was your thought about the concept of arming the teachers?
No.
All right, we'll do that next time.
And just real quick on that, I'm not opposed to. I'm opposed to having guns in a school where what if a teacher loses their fucking mind on her students? I mean, you're locked in a classroom with fucking 30 assholes all day, I really don't want to get a phone call. Your asshole fucking son just got blown away by fucking Mrs. Patsy in English, because he wouldn't shut his fucking mouth. So I don't know. I think that
you would think that there'd be a lot more to that as far as the education and things go, and I don't think that it should be mandatory.
I don't think it should be mandatory, but I guess I'm not really opposed to it either if there's the proper
That's what I think
training.
If you have training and you have people who are voluntarily involved in it, and to me, if you're in the public school system being paid tax dollars, saying that we require a wellness check-in with the school counselor or whatever, maybe would be part of the process of that. I think you could put some safety markers in place.
Right.
But I do think that it could potentially stop what happened in Florida from happening.
I agree.
To that extent.
I agree.
So, I don't think there's one solution to things. I do think if we reach people very early and teach them to respect life and each other and differences and to be kind, a lot of this shit goes away. But chances of that happening are kind of slim to none, even though I like to be idealistic. But
right, and I want to say one thing other too, because this is something I want to say. So a lot of people are saying that they should have put this kid away a long time ago because he made an off comment on YouTube. And if that is what we're basing on putting people away, I should have been put away a long time ago. The shit I used to talk when I played Xbox Live with kids and messages that I would send them. I've made horrible comments on YouTube. It's the internet. I get on this show and say fucking things that piss lots of people off all the time. If that's what we're basing things on, I've been locked up. Then you need to come get me. Somebody needs to come get me, So I know there was other things, but there's everybody keeps referring back to this one comment on YouTube, and it's for me we don't live in a Nazi state. It's hard for me to vindicate. If that was the only evidence. But
I do think there were a lot of markers on the way that this kid needed help that he wasn't getting.
Right. I'm just saying, people are oh, this comment he made on YouTube. I'm fuck, bro. You ain't never said something cross to somebody ever. So, but I agree with you. There's several things along the path that made that were signals for this kid. But
yeah,
one single comment on YouTube should not be somebody's undoing. So.
No, I agree. One single anything, it should not be somebody's undoing.
Right. We should not be hauling somebody out to the edge of the town and fucking burn it.
To be honest, even as tragic as this event was, does that mean that he'll never be a decent person in society?
No, I don't think that at all.
Yeah, you can't say that, right? You can't say that, as awful as this was, that he'll never be able to be a decent person. Now, I don't know if Florida's a death row state and all that, how that'll play into it, because they might, kill him for murder. Yeah. But if he were to, go to prison or wherever they send him, and he were to get help and potentially work on issues that it sounds like were missed and not worked on now, who are we to say that he couldn't ever be a productive person?
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Now, if I was a parent whose child he murdered, I would probably wait to murder him. But
fair enough, right? Fair enough.
That doesn't mean that he couldn't be productive. Like I said, it just means that sometimes we might feel real Old Testament, and it might be eye for an eye.
Right. I agree. So, let's see. Anything else that I don't think so. Like I said, thanks for bearing with us while we do this transition while I move again. I know it seems like I move a lot, but this will probably be my last move for at least 2 years. yeah, so I'm in a pretty serious relationship right now, and so I need some stability to go along with that, and not be moving all over the country. So,
Right.
anyways, that is that, and we will see you guys probably in a month.
Yeah. So where can they find the show?
So you can find it on Google Play. You can go out to iTunes and download it as well. And then any kind, basically, I think we're on 30 different podcast like distro lists. So if you any of the podcast apps, you can get us on there. Search Slightly Nocturnal Show, get it downloaded. Do us a big favor, tell your friends about us. I know if you enjoy the show. If you dislike the show, tell us why. Blow us up in the comments here on YouTube. You can always download the show, rewatch or listen to the show here on YouTube all you want. But yeah, that's the plug.
And tell us what you'd like to see. Like, we would like to have more interaction with you guys. We're going to try to figure out a way to be able to take calls and do some shit like that. Let us know what else you guys would dig. Let us know what you're thinking out there.
Right. I agree. Anyways, fucking keep it real, and we'll see you in like a month.
Yep.
Remember, think for yourself and motherfucking question everything. Catch you later.